right field, way up there, and way out of here. Second deck walk-off home run. Grand slam, Bryce Harper.
Stays right where Allen wants to go. Wants the baseline. Fade away. Yeah. He's way too good. He steps around, move, and drilled it. And the Sixers have scored 9 in a row. 7 straight points by Iverson. Looked like he was sealed for the win. The Sixers by 4.
All right, we are back here on the Sports Skillet Radio Show. We want to thank everybody for taking time out of your day to spend it with us. We really appreciate it. And we want to encourage everybody out there who's watching the podcast, like, follow, and share, get the word out about Sports Skillet. Reminder also, you can go to sportsskilletradio.com for all latest sports news, show updates. You got great articles by Mike up there, as well as some of our other contributors as well. And check out the Heat Ratio for all the great shows that we have there as well. They're hosting us as well, so check out the Heat Ratio for great shows there as well. And again, check us out on our social media channels, Twitter especially. We're doing stuff on there, Instagram, Facebook, a lot of great stuff there as well. I am Jay. I'm joined this week by Mike, my brother Jeff, and the coach Shane McGowan. And Shane, can you let everybody know how they can find you on your social media account?
Yeah, you can reach me at mentaledgeperformance.ca as well as mental_edge_performance. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
Oh, we're doing fabulous. Another great sports weekend to talk about. And Mike, I can see you have something in your hand. I think it's a new addition that you just got this week.
Yeah, it's a new addition to my NASCAR collection. It is a replica hood signed by Jeff Gordon.
Ah, very cool. Congratulations on getting that. So are you...
The question is where to hang it.
That's a good question. I know.
As you can see, my NASCAR collection is pretty stacked, so...
I don't know. It looks like it might be too heavy to hang on a wall. I'm not sure. Can you hang it on a wall?
I don't know. I don't know. But I was so surprised when I got at the Elks Pancake Breakfast last Sunday. But
now, was that like an early Christmas present, you think? Or
I don't know. I really don't know. It was a surprise, but a welcome surprise.
Obviously it was. All right, guys. Let's get into lots of great sports news to dive into this week. Lots of things going on in the world of sports, so we will get right to it. And again, want to let you know you can comment on our social media channels. So if you're following along, if there's a topic you want to hear us talk about that we may be overlooking, feel free to chime in on our social media accounts. We get all the comments, and we will respond to them. Absolutely. So let's start out with here. Mike, on your social media accounts, there was an iconic name change of a stadium that is going to be going down over the next month. The Staples Arena is going to be renamed Crypto.com Arena.
Yes.
Will no longer be Staples out in LA. You had a big reaction to this. You think it should remain Staples and not transfer over to Crypto.com?
Yes, apparently AEG, Anschultz Entertainment Group, the owners of the Staples Center, bought Staples out of the naming rights and then sold it to cryptocurrency purveyor Crypto.com. Staples had a lifetime agreement to name the LA Arena Staples Center. which means as long as that arena stood, it would be named Staples Center. And that name is iconic.
Yeah.
You had 3 Lakers championships in that building. You had 2 LA Kings championships in that building. Numerous concerts, including a few by Taylor Swift, who I absolutely love.
This is true.
That arena is iconic. That name is iconic. It should never be changed. There are just some names that are so iconic, they should never be changed. You got the Gatorade Duels at Daytona, the Daytona 500. You got Chicago Stadium, Wrigley Field, Comiskey Park.
Yeah. Very true.
Staples Center is one of those names.
What do you think, Jeff? Should the name be changed because a new company bought them out? What do you think about name changes for stadiums?
Who cares? Really? Who cares? Stadiums change. Is this the big? Let me ask you a question. Is this what we're leading off with this week? I mean, is this the biggest story of the week? Not to impugn it. Staples? I mean, really?
I'm just throwing it out there. Because I know it was a story.
But I'm just saying, this is the leadoff. I mean, this is the leadoff for the show. Really?
I'm just throwing it out there because Jeff, there's a lot of stadiums that change their names. Should there? I'm just throwing it out there to everybody.
Well, I understand that, but it's like every week a stadium is changing its name. I mean, who knows? What stadium you're walking into, what arena you're walking into from week to week anymore. That's the thing. Everybody's buying up everybody. I mean, that's the nature of business. I mean, banks are taken over by banks every other week. I mean, anymore. So who knows?
But
that's the naming rights to these stadiums, these arenas change. From week to week and month to month. Who knows?
Very true. What did you think about the name change, Shane?
It's gonna happen as soon as someone buys them. It's gonna happen. But why? You're not promoting.
It will always be
Staples
Staples
Center.
Center.
You're promoting your company, cryptocurrency. So where's the biggest place to do it but at your stadium, right? So it makes total sense. I mean, look at that's the way of the future. That's the way new money is coming in. That's the way these players are going to eventually be paid is through crypto anyway. So what the heck? They got the stadium.
It's also been used for online scams.
Yeah, well, Staples Center sucks at times too for teams, so it doesn't matter, right? Everything goes downhill someday.
It's a tough place to play.
Yeah, it's true, and that's what I said at the time. It's like I agree with Jeff. It's like you get billions of dollars floating around out there, and that's what companies do. They buy the naming rights to stadiums so that they can advertise and have their name out there on the field and on the
Hey, look, Jay,
like that.
Let's put it this way: we had the Forum before we had the Staples Center, right?
Yep, very true.
Yeah, I grew up with the Staples Center.
Yep.
Okay, we all grew up with the Forum. That's where the Lakers started. That's where everything
I'm younger
started.
than you guys, so.
Okay, so the problem is for a new name change, for a new building, it don't matter in LA because if you can't make it right away in the first week in LA, you can't make it anywhere. So it doesn't matter. All right, that's just how it goes.
Yep.
Again, I'm much younger than you guys, so I don't particularly remember the Forum.
That's why they went to crypto, because you're a crypto kid now. That's why.
Exactly.
I still remember it as Staples Center. I will always remember it as Staples Center.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with teams moving around and the same thing. They go where the money is. They go where they're going to make where they make the coin. That's just a thing anymore. All right, so we do have an NFL Sunday on tap. So
wait a minute, Jay. You missed the biggest. You talk about stadiums. And you gloss over the fact that the Islanders started out last night in their new digs, and you're missing out. Let me get this straight. So you're talking about the name change over there, and yet you gloss over the fact that the Islanders right over here.
That's right. That's right.
We're opening up their new digs over there next to a horse track. So over in Belmont. Which is like this $1 billion edifice that they built up in up in Belmont up there. So congratulations to the Islanders, by the way, and the fact of of getting this thing opened up, getting out of the Nassau Coliseum. Okay, since we're doing naming, right? We're doing name right, Nassau Coliseum or whatever the name was. Do it at the end. Okay, so congratulations on dudes. They got their new digs. They opened it up. But you know what? It's a bitch to try to travel to. It's a bitch to get to. So there you go.
Took them a decade to get their new digs.
Take the train. That's my advice. Anybody who wants to go to an Islanders game, take the train. That's my advice. Get on the Long Island Railroad.
The train anyway, so.
Yep, I would agree with you. And to take the train anyway, a lot of these stadiums have this traffic problem anymore because they draw so many people. There's such a big edifice anymore. I mean, it's much easier to take public transportation than it is to drive your own car, unless you want to tailgate. But even then, getting into and out of some of these stadiums are a pain in the. I mean, I saw Glenn Macnow put it on his. He's for those who don't know, Glenn Macnow is one of the announcers for WIP, a radio station in the Philadelphia area.
I've never listened to WIP, so.
Well, Glenn Macnow is one of the guys on radio talk show hosts on WIP, a local Philadelphia sports talk show. He showed up at around 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning for an Eagles 4 o'clock game, I believe it was last week. He put on his social media site how backed up the traffic was to get into Lincoln Financial Field last week or the week before. Just hellacious was the traffic. I mean, and I agree with you, Jeff. It's much easier to take public transportation anymore than it is to drive your own vehicle there. It's probably cheaper too with what they charge for parking in these stadiums anymore. But
congratulations. But by the way, they opened up. By the way, the Islanders open up this new stadium, and you know what? They lose 5-2 to Calgary. So congratulations.
The fans two parties 50 years apart.
Hey,
yeah, you know.
I got one quick thing too before we jump into the NFL about hockey right now. Is that just so that Jeff understands this too? I wasn't sure if you knew, but the Quebec Nordiques are possibly going to be getting the Arizona Coyote.
It's about time.
There is talk about Arizona. Bettman's meeting with them up there in Quebec. They've got the stadium, the arena in place from before. They're now looking at the people that could buy the team and who they represent and everything like that, because it looks like it is finally coming slowly to a halt in Arizona of no longer going to be having a team there due to the fact of so many transition problems from stadium to stadium, arena to arena that they've had of nobody wants to keep them in their city.
Yeah.
It's been nearly 30 years since the last Nordiques game. It's time for the Nordiques to come back. I've already got the Nordiques fight song in my head.
They've got the fan base. They've got the arena. They've got everything in place. It's now just, do they have the investors that are there? So, like I said, for the NHL news-wise, that is something that is going to be a hot topic as Bettman meets with them on Monday again, and they're going to go from there and keep filtering. So it's not going to be a new team because we are already seeing at 32, but it's going to be an existing team that is possibly on the move to help relieve some of that pain that's going down there in Arizona with the Coyotes.
And I think
Phoenix has never been a hockey market.
No, and I think Quebec would support the Nordiques again. Wouldn't you say so, Shane? I think
most definitely with the rivalry between Montreal and Quebec and everything like that, like they are, and just the fact of having that extra Canadian team up there too is a huge factor too, and it's an icon. I mean, you've had great players that have come out of there and everything too. It would be very. I think it's timing, and I think the time is right for them to finally get it back.
I think so too. Absolutely. Do we want to shift to the NFL now, guys, or anything else?
Absolutely.
It's an NFL Sunday.
Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Can't be Sunday without football.
Exactly. All right, so let's start off.
Jeff, whatever are we gonna do with you, man?
Let's start off.
Sorry, anytime I have a chance to rip on your brother, I will do that.
There you go. So let's start off with this one. Question I will throw out there: will Cam Newton take control of the Carolina Panthers? We see him starting his first game looks like it will be this week against the Washington football team and his old coach, Ron Rivera. Welcome back, Cam Newton.
Revenge.
Yes. Jeff, revenge is best served cold. So what do you think about Cam Newton coming back and facing his old head coach, Ron Rivera?
Yeah, it should be an interesting game. You have this intrigue. Obviously, it's the one storyline you have. Going into this game. I mean, that's what drives this game with Cam Newton. Honestly, I mean, I don't know the real fascination with Cam. I mean, I know that he's trying to revive his career. He had a good game last week. Coming in. So, it's not like Carolina has a lot of other options, at this point to put on the table. So, throw him out there, see if he can, catch lightning in a bottle and, see if he can win, a couple of games. I mean, that's what you're trying to do at this point if you're Carolina, and try to, ride a wave if you can. And, at this point, Washington's, not very good. So, you just try and figure out, okay, see what that's a storyline for this particular game. That's a storyline you have, and that's a storyline that's going to be driving it. Is that thing? But look, I mean, it's just about. It's really about this game is really about two teams that are struggling and need to find an identity.
We lost Jeff.
And Carolina is hopeful that, like I said, they can catch lightning in a bottle and try to, get a win here over Washington.
Shane, Cam Newton is back. So, what do you think about this game, Shane?
Yeah, well, right now they're 3.5-point favorites, and again, that's because they're playing at home as well. So, I mean, I don't expect it to be a high scoring. I do think though that they definitely feel more comfortable with Cam right now in there. He's shown last week that he can still gun it, run it, do what he's got to do. McCaffrey seems to be a healthy play today as well, which is good for them in that way as well. Washington, on the flip side of it, is an aggressive offense, and I think that's why I think Carolina thinks they can pick them apart a little bit, because Heineke likes to throw the ball in some risky places. And, yeah, they got the win last week against Tampa. No question about it. You're not going to argue that. But did Tampa really play, or did they just, Washington play that great? I don't know. I mean, that's something that we're going to see this week between both those teams, between Tampa redeeming themselves as well as Washington. Can they continue that momentum? I think Carolina actually does take this game. I think it would be by a field goal only, though. But I do think with Washington having its beaten up defense as well, they got some injuries now with Chase Young gone for the season, unfortunately. It's going to be tough. You're still missing two tight ends now as well, because both of their tight ends are still out for Washington. So, I mean, it's not exactly a great fit right now for them. And I think Carolina's going to play a tougher D against Heineke this time too. I think they saw some things from the Tampa game. But like I said, Cam, they needed him right now. I think they needed a spark in that organization. He got drafted there. And again, it's been talked. Look, it's like a fairy tale ending from two. You got drafted there. You played there. You did everything there. You got to a Super Bowl with that team. Your time went away, but you've been able to come back to kind of end it the way you want to now, too, with that organization.
Very true. And what do you think about the game, Mike?
It's going to be a close game. I think Carolina pulls it out by a touchdown. I'm going to take Carolina, the points, and I'm actually going to say the under.
Yeah, I think Carolina will win this one. It could be a close game, but I think Cam Newton will look good in this one. I like Carolina in this one. Going to another game, will the Cowboys prove their dominance this week? Cowboys are going into Kansas City. Kansas City currently comes in at 6-4. Cowboys are 7-2. Kansas City obviously needs a win. Jeff, how do you think this game is going to play out?
Well, this is the game of the week. This is a matchup that you really want to see. because you want to see, first of all, we saw last week that Kansas City it sort of got their legs back, and it looked like the offense that we all know love out there in Kansas City. So so you look at Kansas City and you kind of say, okay, can they put two of those games back to back, and have those same kind that same kind of offense for the Dallas Cowboys? What you're looking at here is, okay, you're the Dallas Cowboys. You've got this great record in the NFC. Okay, now let's see what happens when you go up against the Kansas City Chiefs here, and whether or not you're for real in interest. So it's a measuring stick, I think, for both it's a measuring stick game for both of these organizations going into this game, and it's a fascinating matchup when you look at it, because what you're basically looking at right now is whether or not Kansas City can obviously push forward. Because again, when you look at the West out there in the AFC, I mean, they left Kansas City out there to just they left the door open for Kansas City to just walk right through. And
they walk right through.
Here's Kansas City now starting to get their legs, starting to find their legs offensively,
Jeff, we lost you again.
The question now is 2 weeks in a row. Can you actually is that offense back? Is that offense truly back? And you're going to see that against the Dallas defense. And for Dallas, it's going to be like I said. You get a high profile game here. You're going up against the Kansas City defense. So yeah, I think that this game has a lot of intrigue based around it that you're going to see here, and it's a fascinating matchup here for this point in the season.
Yep, and the Cowboys are going to be without Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence, and a wide receiver Amari Cooper, who was placed on the reserve COVID-19 list. So those are some pretty big losses, Shane, for the Dallas Cowboys in this one.
Like Jeff said, I mean, this game kind of solidifies exactly for Dallas playing a top-notch team. You know what I mean? Are you legit? I mean, are you really that type of a team that can go further in the division and the playoffs and everything like that? Or have you found where it's like as soon as you play a tougher team, you break down in weaknesses? You know what I mean? Kansas City, I got to give them the Chiefs credit. Yeah, they beat my Raiders, and I'm more mad at my Raiders for not fighting back. You know what I mean? Like they should have. They just gave up. You know what I mean? So we'll see about that. But like I said, the Chiefs had their legs. It's tough to play outdoors at this time of weather as well, too. And so Dak's got to play outside. Will it be a run game now? Because, like you said, all you got is CeeDee Lamb, you got Zeke, and you got Schultz, right? That's it, for your offense in some ways. Gallup is back. But
Arrowhead against that tough crowd.
And this weather. And again, too, is KC is comfortable now. They seem to be comfortable with what they've got and what they're doing in the play schemes. Their timing is better, put it that way. Their timing seems to be better. Mahomes seems to be better in that pocket. So the thing is that on defense, you still got this guy out there named Diggs who likes to pick off some footballs. So, I mean, I think Mahomes is going to be aware of where he's playing at and stuff. But I do think that this is a very, very high bar for both of these teams to see where they're really at to put on the performances that they have to.
Yeah, and Mike, you look at the Cowboys' record; they come in 7-2. Packers are 8-2. Tampa Bay's 6-3. You got the Arizona Cardinals 8-2. Rams are 7-3. So there are some playoff implications for the Cowboys in this one.
Yeah, and building off of what Jeff and what Coach have said, this is a prove-it game for the Dallas Cowboys. Are you legit? Are you ready for that next step? And going up against Patrick Mahomes on his home turf in this weather against the hostile crowd of Arrowhead, this is the proving ground. And with Kansas City getting their groove back, I don't think they're ready. I'm going to take Kansas City, the points, and the over.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, last five, the Dallas Cowboys are 4-1. They have a one-game winning streak. Kansas City comes into the game and 4-1 in their last five. They've won 3 in a row. So Kansas City Chiefs are on a little bit of a hot streak there, and of course they seem to have they're starting to figure things out again offensively. They've been struggling there, but I'm gonna take the I'm actually gonna take the Dallas Cowboys in this one. Despite their injury, the Chiefs still have to show me a little bit more for me to officially say that they're officially back. I think Dallas is going to give Kansas City all they can handle in KC and more. So I actually think the Dallas Cowboys are going to come out and going to win that one. So I'm taking the Cowboys in this one. The other question that's come up is you look at over in the AFC, you look at the AFC North, you have the Cleveland Browns, who have been struggling. The last 5, they've gone 2-3. They've lost 1 in a row. And they had put together this really good team, but they've been struggling. They're last in their division. You've got Baltimore at 6-3, 5-3 Steelers, 5-4 Bengals, and you got the Browns, who had allegedly put together a really good team. The question I'll throw to you, Jeff. Will Cleveland get their stuff together, or do you think they're going to continue to struggle this year?
Well, I think the tonic for the Browns right now is today's game. They get the Lions. Which is like a tonic, which is like, okay, you want to get right, you want the Lions on your schedule. I mean, that's really what they got the Lions. For the few Lion fans that are out there, I'm sorry, but that's just the state of the Lions at this point. So you want to play Matthew Stafford, you want to play the Lions. I mean, that's really what you want at this point.
Matt Stafford's on LA.
Yep.
Yeah, so you want to so essentially this is I call this like a get well game, because look, if you're the Cleveland Browns, you're Baker Mayfield, if you're this organization and you can't win this particular game this week, then you've got some real problems, and you've really got to examine where you are as an organization and where you're going, because this was a team, essentially this was a playoff team last year that was essentially on the rise, that was supposed to be competing in that in the AFC as legit contender out there. And so for them right now, this is a game where, hey, the cards are out all on the table. Put it out there and just say, go out there and wallop the Lions. I mean, that's really what they need to do here today.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like Tim Boyle is going to start at quarterback for the Lions, giving the Cleveland Browns even more of an advantage. Jared Goff is doubtful to play this week, and probably on Thursday too, because the Lions are one of those teams that always play on Thanksgiving. So Goff is probably going to be off today and going to be off this coming Thursday. Shane, I don't see any way the Lions win this. What do you think?
Yeah, well, Pittsburgh thought that too last week, right? And they end up getting a honestly, I don't believe Cleveland's going to lose this game. I think Detroit is just basically saying, let's see what we've got for players, guys that are banged up, you're not playing, etc. It's a sad situation there in Detroit, but you know what? It's like anyone else that's gone through these things with their teams before too. You're in that rebuilding. You're going to get it back together in a few years. But right now, you just ride this storm that you're in. I think Cleveland's problem is, once again, they've been banged up so much that they just can't figure out some things. You try to get rid of Odell. You try to make some things happen out there that just weren't. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, these guys have been off and on for the past, 3 weeks, almost a month, because of certain COVID protocols, things like that. So they haven't had a consistent game players out there for quite some time. And I think that's really messed up with Baker in some ways too. So now we'll see what happens. Going into Detroit, like Jeff said, it's kind of a give-me game, but it's also to get you back on your feet again too and stuff. I think right now what Cleveland is hoping for is Baltimore loses, Cincy loses, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Steelers lose so that they can be right back in that mix by pulling off a win today. So I think that's going to be a big momentum. We'll see how those three teams play out this weekend too. But if they do lose, if those three teams do lose because Lamar's not feeling well, Maurice Brown is out for the Baltimore as well. So that's pretty tough out there on that Baltimore team.
And Cincinnati has Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas needs a win. So Vegas is going to be a desperate team. I mean, let's put it that way. Cincy's a good team, don't get me wrong. But I just think that, like I said, and this is where Cincy's looking to say, we want to pull ahead. And Steelers, I mean, Ben's coming off of COVID and everything like that too. So I don't have a lot of faith in Pittsburgh as it is as a team. So like I said, Cleveland right now, if it works out the way it should for them, they might be right back in the mix by this win today and everybody losing in that division.
Very true. What do you think, Mike?
I think this is one of those games where it's going to work out for Cleveland. They got the freaking Lions, the worst team in the NFL.
Yep.
Jared Goff's out. He's going to be out on Thanksgiving. This is going to be a Browns win. Browns, take it. I'll take the points, and I'll take the over.
All right. So
if the Browns can't win this game, it's a big problem, especially especially with all the issues that you look at on the Lions. I mean, they're a mess. So take the Browns.
Oh, absolutely. So Jeff, I'll turn to your 49ers here. 49ers offense seems to be finding itself a little bit. They play bully ball against the Rams a little bit. They go up against the Jacksonville Jaguars 2-7. You going with your 49ers this week? I know you've been kind of picking against them the past few weeks.
It's like I said earlier. It's like I said just a minute or two ago. You want to play Matthew Stafford right now, right? Because Matthew Stafford right now seems to be, and we can talk about this with Shane, but it's getting into his head right now. It's got to be getting into his head as to what's going on, because this is a team right now that has gone all in. I mean, they are all freaking in for this season. I mean, there is no doubt right now that the owner right now wants to do what Tampa Bay did last year. They want to host the Super Bowl. They want to win the Super Bowl in their home stadium. And you know what? The owner's going to go freaking back crazy if they're not, if they're the way they're playing right now. That being said, you have the 49ers.
Jeff?
In the second half of the season, finding their identity right now. If they're starting to find a little.
Jeff, you're probably in and out.
A little bit of what works for them, which is having the pieces healthy for the 49ers, which is is always a plus for the 49ers. But the 49ers have found identity running the football, finding that identity, and they just ran it right down the right down the Rams' throat. Now, that being said, they've beaten the Rams. They've always seemed to be able to beat the Rams. The question now is, can they put some of these games back to back to back as far as San Francisco goes? And today is a good way of doing that. You're going up, like we say with the Lions. Here's another game where the 49ers can go in and make a statement, go in there and just go in and beat up on Jacksonville. Just go in there and beat up on them and get out of there with a solid win and say, okay, we're starting to find, we're really starting to crank up that running game and really starting to crank up, a couple wins here because they're not out of the by any stretch when you look at the NFC and you look at the playoffs. The 49ers are there, so it's a matter now of can they get a run going here and win 5, 6, 7 games in a row and sort of get on that run. So we'll see what happens here today with the 49ers, whether they lay a dud and whether or not Jacksonville comes out and plays that kind of defense that they've been playing. We've seen it, what Jacksonville can do, but the 49ers, this is a statement game for them, in my opinion, to go out there and just beat up on the Jaguars.
Yep, I agree. What do you think, Shane? Beat up on the Jaguars today?
No, I think they've got that momentum going for them. Yeah. I mean, they're riding that high already and they've been so successful against the Rams. I mean, throughout seasons. I mean, I think it's 4 and 5 that they've won against the Rams. You know what I mean? Like it's that they got that one. So really they're only missing one key person today, and that's Mitchell there in the backfield. But Wilson Jr. seems to be a young guy that can run the ball just as hard and just as fast. So I don't think they're really missing a beat playing the Jacksonville Jags. I really don't. I think they're going to be fine up there and do what they got to do. But they are in the mix. They got to keep this momentum going. And Garoppolo's got to play smart. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. Smart ball, controlled ball, and things. And I think what also is starting to sort of fade a little bit is that, we don't need to put Lance in. And I think Garoppolo feels a lot more comfortable because of that right now, of saying he's not somebody looking over his shoulder so much. He's controlling the game. He's doing what he's got to do. And, Debo is playing lights out right now, too. Give that guy credit. That guy is a phenomenal receiver right now. So
Debo
I think right now, he's playing great. You know what I mean? So, like I said, 49ers right now with the schedule that they have, got to take advantage of it. That Rams game was a huge to get over that hump and show that, listen, we're still in the mix. Don't count us out. That's what they're doing.
But here we go, Shane. On the flip side, what is your take right now on Stafford and what's going on there out in LA?
I honestly think they're pretty much beaten up in some ways right now. I think this week off was much needed for them. A lot of expectation. You nailed it by saying, listen, this owner wants to win a championship, and he's going to do everything he can, because you're right. The billions of dollars that are going to come into California for this Super Bowl are huge. You want a piece of that money too that's coming in, right? As an owner, an organization, everything like that, right? So you're going to buy the team. You're going to buy the players. You're going to buy everything you can to get yourself there into the mix. You've got this amazing facility, right? You got to demonstrate it and show it. And like I said, on paper, they've got a team to do it. There's no question about it. I don't think anyone here is going to deny that they've got a team on paper that is very, very good to be in a Super Bowl. It's now getting themselves back on track, because, like I said, they lost that for a little bit. Too many drop balls. So I think those receivers also got to kind of think a little bit about some things too, right? They dropped a lot of balls that were there that could have made some executions and move forward. They didn't. So we're going to see what happens, but they're banged up. They need that rest. Even the defense needs to rest up, because they've been on the field a lot too long, and they got to get themselves back energized.
Well, the two things here that I picked up, with the Rams. Number one, they have a lot of trouble stopping the run. I mean, that's become, a big issue. They're great. They have some great pass rushers. That's just, the way that the Rams are built. Hey, they can stop the pass, but you get a good running game throwing at them. You can go at that defense. Number two, they're thin offensively. I mean, you look at those receivers, the tight ends, so forth. There's no question about it offensively. So it's if you look at that team, that's why I think there's no question, in the playoffs and so forth. But they got work to do. I mean, they got work to do the second half of the season. There's no question about it. And they got some issues that they have to resolve during this bye week and take advantage of, because they got some tough games coming up on their schedule.
It's kind of funny when you look at the stats right now of this Rams team, just as an example. Offensively, they're throwing up close to 400 yards. I mean, they can throw the ball and stuff. Right. But if your receivers aren't catching it, it drops to half. Everything runs behind Cooper Kupp. You know what I mean? It's simple. Sure. The run game runs behind Cooper Kupp. Everything goes with Cooper Kupp. And I think when they lost Woods, you lost a little bit of a piece there too. You know what I mean? And they haven't been able to figure out, will the rebirth of OBJ make a difference come, right? When he steps onto the field next week, having another week of under the playbook and everything like that to replace Woods at this particular time. That's going to be another big factor, right? Because Van Jefferson, that other young receiver, is too young right now. He doesn't have that experience, and he's got the speed, but he just cannot find that proper timing. When you got rid of Deshaun Jackson to the Raiders, I mean, you lost a little bit of a deep threat there too, right? So, they need to figure out some things on that offensive side. But defensively, you're absolutely correct that their run game has slowed down due to injuries in that linebacker field, right? So the pass game too has also picked up against them as well. So like I said, they've been getting picked apart since the beginning when the Rams were the number one defense out there, to now just being an okay defense. And I think that if they've got some pride in them, they're going to come back and make an example. So I think there's time to revamp a little bit. You need a loss once in a while to get yourself back into the game. And I think the Rams, and I like Coach McVay. I think he's done a lot of great things, and I think he's going to get this team going again too.
I think so too. What do you think, Mike?
I think the 49ers have to beat up on the Rams. Not the Rams. The Jaguars this week. They have to beat up on the Jaguars this week. I'm taking 49ers, the over and the points in that game, by the way. As for the Rams, the resurgence of Odell Beckham Jr. has to take place next week. I think another week under the playbook will serve him well in trying to replace Robert Woods. But building off of what Coach has said, as an owner, Dan Kroenke wants a piece of all that revenue, all those billions of dollars that's coming in from the Super Bowl and the related events, including the Busch Light Clash, which will take place the week before the Super Bowl at Memorial Coliseum. He wants a piece of those billions. And to get a piece of the billions, he's going to need his team in there.
That's right. Absolutely. Another pretty good game going on this week, 1 p.m. Over on CBS will be the Buffalo Bills going out to Indianapolis to face the Colts. Colts have been building kind of towards this one. They crawled their way back to 500 after starting 0-3. Bills come in at Bills come in. I did not see
this one coming at all.
Yeah, Bills come in at 6-3.
I'm taking the Bills.
Game ahead of the New England Patriots, who kind of caught fire.
I'm sorry. I'm taking the Bills in this one. Bills, the over, and the points.
You think, Mike?
I'm taking the Bills.
What do you think, Jeff? Can Carson Wentz pull out a win for the Indianapolis Colts, who are
what's up with the Bills? I don't know what's up, with the Bills right now because look. They have a maintenance, and it's called New England. I mean, that's really the problem that they have right now is that Belichick's back. I mean, everybody knows it right now. Belichick is back. He's found his quarterback. Hey, the 49ers may or may not regret the idea of taking Trey Lance, the number 2 pick. That may be one of the all-time backfires that comes back on the 49ers in years to come. We'll have to wait and see on that, but the early returns right now are not positive for San Francisco. We're going to have to wait and see what Trey Lance does. But, so far, the problem for the Bills, and you want to talk about the Bills, is the fact that they have a team right now breathing down their necks right now in the New England Patriots are going to get that,
overuse them right now there, Jeff.
That defense is playing the best right now of any defense in the NFL right now.
Right.
So that the Bills right now have to get have to put some wins on the board here. I don't want to say it's just a must win for the Bills, but it's pretty darn close because you don't want to give New England an opportunity to say, hey, look, and New England right now is that close right now when you look at the AFC. They could be the number 1 seed for crying out loud right now, the New England Patriots. So they're right there. I mean, Belichick knows it. Belichick, is looking at this team and saying, you know what? I took a shot here. We brought in some guys over the offseason, and you know what? It's worked out, and these guys are meshing, and these guys are starting to play good ball. And all of a sudden, here you got Buffalo that's starting to hear some footsteps. And that's going to be an issue because this is a team right now, Buffalo, mind you, that's looking for the Super Bowl. I mean, they're looking at this and saying, you know what, it's not about playoffs. They want to go with Super Bowl. I mean, that's what's about right now for the Bills.
30 years.
And they are going to be they have a lot of problems right now if you're the Bills.
Oh yeah, what do you think, Shane?
Well, first off, Belichick has said this over and over again. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon. And like I said, he's doing it the right way, like he always does. He gets his team prepared, and with a rookie quarterback, with the defense that's been brought up, developed, brought in, etc., and things like that. Belichick knows what he's doing, and you can never go against the guy in any way, right? I mean, that's just how he is. And I give the Patriots a lot of credit for taking a team that really doesn't have big name talent on it in some ways. But that's Belichick. I mean, he does it. He makes it work for them. and they've gotten some wins. So when you look at a team like the Jets, who get a number 2 quarterback, trade up, do everything, and that guy's on the sideline. You know what I mean? And the next guy behind him's got sidelined. And then you're bringing in Flacco and everything like that.
Yeah.
But this game against the Colts that we were first talking about here with Buffalo, I mean, you're right. Buffalo is desperate. Buffalo's playing as a desperate team right now because they've lost games and they haven't won in spectacular fashion. A 9-6 win, the other night, 2 weeks ago, is not spectacular. Okay, so Buffalo is still trying to find their groove and their identity because right now they pretty much, in some ways, to a lot of people, are saying, "Look, you still suck." Right? Doesn't matter about that win; it still sucks. So if the Colts can pull it off and do something, right, it can be very scary. But I also look and say, even if the Bills win, are they just barely winning, or did they actually blow out the Colts, who are up and coming right now again too? That's another thing that we got to look at on that flip side. So I as much as everybody wants to jump on Buffalo bandwagon, I think the Colts still might pull something else. Mean, you don't know. You really don't know just yet. So I'm not in a big favor to just jump on that Buffalo bandwagon here, and seen enough from them as in the last few games of dominance against some superior teams, and that's what I'm getting at. So we'll see what happens today, but I'm not going to say Buffalo's going to pull this one out just yet.
No, I'm picking the Colts. I think the Colts actually win this game. I think the Bills has the main problem. They got 2 games left against New England, and that's going to be tough. I mean, that's going to be tough on the Bills. And it's going to be major disappointment up there, in Buffalo if this team, really sputters after the kind of season they had last year. Going as far as they did in the playoffs. To all of a sudden have this kind of a season and just say, you know what, hey, look, the New England Patriots are back. I think, I think this game is the reason, they got these 2 games that are stacked up against the New England Patriots. So, if you want to try and win the division and try to get, try and be up there as far as the seeding goes in the AFC, and you're the Bills, this is a must-win game, knowing what you have coming up on your schedule.
Very true. What do you think about the game, Mike?
Yeah, this is a definite must-win for the Bills. I think they pull it off because Buffalo's still a good team, but I do believe the Colts will surprise. They'll put a shock into the Bills' system, but not a big enough shock to pull out a win against the Bills. I think the Bills take it.
I'm gonna go with Jeff. I'm gonna go with the Colts in this one. They've been scratching and clawing and working their way back to playoff relevancy, and this is a big measuring stick game for the Colts to find out exactly how good they are, and especially if they want to stay in the playoff conversation. To get a win over the Bills would definitely have them in the forefront, put them in the forefront of people's mind, and would definitely do some damage to the Buffalo Bills playoff hopes as well.
Not only that, Jay, but your draft pick. There goes your draft pick. Bye-bye to your draft pick for the Eagles.
Well, it would be a lower draft pick, but
it'd be a lower pick, but it's still a first-rounder.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's what the Eagles are.
But I can't trust Roseman for as far as I can throw him, and that's not far.
I don't know. Some of his draft picks have actually started to pan out if you actually analyze them.
Don't trust Roseman.
I don't know.
Never trust Roseman.
You look at it.
You never trust
Hurts, Smith, Dickerson, Mailata, Goddard, Sweat, Hargrave, Maddox, 3 number 1 picks in 2022. I mean, the rebuild is starting to look a bit more promising. Howie might not be doing quite as bad a job as some people are giving him credit for. And speaking of that, you have Avonte Maddox getting a contract extension this past week, as well as Dallas Goedert. So two key members for the Eagles rebuild have gotten contract extensions within a day of each other. And they had to get Goedert done because they traded Zach Ertz out to Arizona to the Cardinals. So that gave Goedert and his camp a lot of leverage over the Philadelphia Eagles. So to get this contract done, kudos to Harry Roseman for signing Zach Goedert to a multi-year contract extension. And then following that up a day later with Avonte Maddox extension, good job for him. And the rebuild may not be going as bad as some people are thinking it out to be. And the fact that that he's getting all these players signed, you got Mulata signed to 2025, Matt Pryor, he was traded to the Colts, but Josh Sweat signed to 2024, Maddox 24, Goddard 25. I mean, it doesn't look like Harry Roseman is going anywhere. So the anti-Harry Roseman camp, which there are quite a few members of, looks like Howie's going to be making those first-round draft picks in 2022. It doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Because if he wasn't going to be making those picks, I don't think Jeffrey Lurie would be having him sign these guys to long-term extensions. And speaking of those Philadelphia Eagles, they are going to be hosting the New Orleans Saints at Lincoln Financial Field at 1 o'clock this afternoon, which is a game with a lot of playoff implications on the line. You wouldn't think so with the Eagles being 4-6, but the Eagles can get back to 5-6. All of a sudden, with the easiness of their schedule, maybe they can crawl their way back into playoff relevancy. And you got the New Orleans Saints, who actually really need this game over the Philadelphia Eagles because they are hosting the Bills on Thursday. And then they are hosting the Cowboys after that. And then after an easy game, which should be an easy game against the New York Jets, they go out and they go down to Tampa Bay to face the Buccaneers. So within the next month, they are facing the Bills, the Cowboys, and the Buccaneers on their docket. So Jeff, this could be a really important game for both the two teams.
Massive swing game. I call it in the NFC right here because we want to find out what the Saints are. Trevor Siemian, obviously, we need to see something there from the Saints. But I'm wondering what the Saints are at this point because they had some quality wins. That's the thing about the Saints. They had some quality wins that they put on the board. But they've also had some scratch your head losses as well. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what the Saints are. We know what the Eagles are.
The NFC East.
Basically, they run they're running the football and so forth. So they seem to have found something of an identity. Going in Denver was and the way they did it was impressive because it's hard to win in Denver to be quite honest. But all that being said, you wonder about both of these teams and who can impress their will over the other. I think that's what this game really comes down to is who's going to make probably the least mistakes in this game. Who's going to come out and not turn over the football less than the other opponent, so forth and so on. So it could come down to just turnovers or something of that nature with the penalties, that kind of thing. That's the way I see it. Because you know what, I look at both these teams and I'm kind of just wondering where both of these teams really fit in. And again, you look at this game and there is massive. It is a massive swing game when you look at the playoffs. So.
Yeah, and you look at it, Shane, New Orleans is ranked first in run defense. So the Eagles have been a ground and pound offense over the past few weeks. They seem to, as Jeff pointed out, they seem to have found their identity by running the ball. We're going to see how long the Eagles head coach sticks with the run against the Saints.
You can't stick with it for long against the Saints.
Well, that's going to be the thing. If the Eagles can't stick with the run, or the head coach Nick Sirianni abandons the run, do they have enough receiver-wise to take over? I don't think they do. I like Avonte Smith, but Shane, how do you think this game is going to go down?
Well, I think the Saints' defense is a little too tough right now. I don't think the Saints' offense is great, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I just think the Saints' defense may put a bit of a hold on that run game, which is too bad because I guess if Sanders comes back, mind you, every time Sanders plays, you guys go to the RPOs anyway, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
he's gonna rely on Jalen. He's gonna rely on Jalen to get out of there and do what he's got to do. But I think the Saints are gonna keep it in check and in control. And I think Ingram too for the Saints there has a good opportunity to play a good game himself. I think that run game is going to play. Simeons is not a way, and I think you feel the pressure, but I just think that Saints will pull it off, and it's not going to be a high score one way. They pull that one off though.
Yeah, and Mike, the Saints are going to be without Alvin Kamara and offensive tackles Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk. All three of them have been ruled out for this game, which could have an impact on the outcome of the game, no doubt about it. How do you see this game going down?
Well, without Alvin Kamara, this is going to be a much tougher game for the Saints. I think the Saints still pull it out. But memo to all the Alvin Kamara fantasy owners, you need a backup plan because Kamara is just going to pull up a big goose egg.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of like the.
I am glad I'm not a Kamara fantasy owner.
Yes, definitely. Not having him is one of the best running backs in the NFL. A huge boost to the Saints' offense. Not having him in this one definitely is a big blow to the Saints' offense, no doubt about it. And the other thing, like I said, is will Nick Sirianni stick with the run if he's only getting maybe 1 or 2 yards at a time, knowing that he might be able to wear over the course of the game, might be able to wear him down. But, if he's only getting 1 or 2 yards at a time, will Nick Sirianni, who loves to throw the ball, we saw that at the beginning of the year, will he continue to stay with it? That's going to be a huge question.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. No, I think if you're the Eagles, you have to. That's where your bread is butter, not with the receivers. And yes, I know they have Dallas Goedert. Yes, I know they have Devontae Smith, but their bread is butter. They gotta stick with the run. They got to. That's where they're. Do you think so, Jeff? Because that's where I think the Eagles' bread and butter is.
Well, you gotta have a balance.
Yeah.
I don't think you can go full on one way or the other. I mean, you got to have a little bit of a balance in there. But yeah, for the Eagles, their best player, their best at when they're good. When they win the games, they're good. When they're running the football and they're running it effectively. I just don't think you're going to be able to run it, very well against the Saints. That's going to be the problem. So you're going to run into kind of a brick wall right there. So,
yeah, I like I said, I don't think they're going to get they're going to be breaking a lot of runs like they have been the past couple of weeks. I don't think they're going to get huge chunks out of the running game, but the key is just to kind of stick with it. Even if you're getting 1 or 2 yards at a time, just stick with it. Rotate the running backs in there. The key also is Miles Sanders. Watch him because Miles Sanders is that kind of shuck and jive, as I like to call it, running back, shifty kind of running back. Whereas the other 2 running backs that they've been using the past couple of weeks are just stick the foot in the ground and go. They see the hole and they nail it. They're not going to be shucking and driving in the backfield, like Miles Sanders is, and bouncing it around and that type of thing. And that could be a benefit for the Philadelphia Eagles, is seeing how adaptable the offensive line of Miles Sanders is going to be because he is active for this game this afternoon. So let me go around. Let me get everybody's top 3 picks of the week. Michael, I'll start with you. Top 3 games of the week with your picks.
I'm going to take Green Bay over Minnesota. I'm going to take Tennessee over Houston. And I'm going to take Arizona over Seattle.
Gotcha. And,
so safe.
Gotcha. So, Shane, who do you like this week? Your top 3 games of the week.
Well, I'm going to take the 49ers over Jacksonville. I'm going to take the Dolphins over the Jets. And I'm going to take the Chargers over the Steelers.
Chargers over the Steelers. I like it. Jeff, who do you got?
I got the Browns over the Lions. I got the Niners over the Jaguars. And I got the Titans over the Texans. So those are my picks.
All right. And I'm going to go the Eagles over New Orleans. I'm going to go
of
with
course.
That one. Well, I haven't been picking the Eagles a whole lot this year, because they've been struggling. But I think this is a key game for the Eagles, so I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one. I'm going to go with Green Bay over Minnesota. And I will go with Baltimore over Chicago. Even though Lamar Jackson may not be playing in this one, I think he is currently under the weather. So it's a big game that would be a big game for Chicago to kind of show something if Baltimore is going to go with their backup quarterback. But I think Baltimore will still have enough in the tank. I think they can still beat Chicago. But that would be a big game, a big proving ground game for the Chicago Bears. Couple other stories that came up this past week before I let everybody go here. We had this NFL source that told the reporter that Bucks wide receiver Antonio Brown tried to hook other players up with fake Vax cards. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Antonio Brown, you jackass.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, reportedly Antonio Brown is vaccinated. That's what his legal representation put out there. His agent and so forth said, because there was some question that came up this past week, is Antonio Brown vaccinated? And then, because one of the people that were associated with Antonio Brown, I believe it's like his former chef or something like that.
Oh my God.
Said, when he wasn't paid by Antonio Brown, said that, Antonio Brown wasn't vaccinated and that, he tried to hook other players up with fake vaccination cards. If this was even true, this would have been a big deal, don't you think, Jeff? Because you can't have fake vaccination cards going out to NFL players and then infecting other players or other people associated with the team.
No, you can't. I mean, obviously, but are we surprised that this happened to Antonio Brown? I mean, is this really a shocker that Antonio Brown came out with fake vaccine? He's an idiot. I mean, that's just the way it goes with this with this player. I just sometimes I just shake my head sometimes with just the thoughts and the actions that go through Antonio Brown's head. But hey, whatever.
What did you think of this story, Shane, when it broke this past week?
Well, I mean, first off, it could be a disgruntled employee. I mean, when it was a chef that's saying he's getting paid $500 to get the card, right? Yeah. And again, as much as we all know, AB is definitely a goof in many ways and stuff like that. He's done a lot of crazy things. I just don't think Bruce Arians is that type of a coach to not know what the heck is going on with his players and his team. You know what I mean? And he's going to make sure that everybody's on the right page or else you're gone. Right now, AB is just on the IR with a sprained ankle. They haven't let him go. Yeah. The league really isn't doing a whole heck of a lot from what I was told in some things too. So I think it's more or less, look, they've got the proof to show that, yes, he's had this, and this. Maybe he was interested in getting the card. and didn't want to get at the time or something like that. But I believe that whole tune changed quite a while ago. So as it stands right now, we'll see what it goes from here. But people look to make it's easy to pick on Antonio Brown when he's done so many goofy things. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Man, the ticking time bomb. He's a diva, and this is just par for the course for him.
He's got a ring. He's got a ring. That's all he cared about. He got a ring.
That's right.
He's still a ticking time bomb.
Yep. And the other
only reason he's still in the league is Tom Brady.
Yeah, I would agree with that. 110%.
It helps to have friends in high places.
Yeah, extremely high.
Shooter Tom Brady.
Extremely high in his case. Absolutely. The other story, and it's a absolutely depressing one or whatever. Former NFL player Zach Stacy, he's facing up to maybe 15 years in prison after a domestic violence incident this past week. We didn't post the video, but it's a very disturbing video that what Zach Stacy did in his domestic violence incident. Hopefully he gets all 15 years. I don't know if any of you guys want to comment on it, but I hope he gets the maximum allowable prison sentence for his domestic violence charge. Absolutely.
Hey, I'll say this.
25 years.
He should. There's no question about it. You know, I mean, that dude needs to be doing a hard lifetime for what he did and everything like that. I'm just knocking on wood and grateful that this week we're not talking about anybody from my Raiders, because that seems to be the only thing that's been going on. So I feel I'm going to have a good week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said,
the next Raiders player gets in trouble.
All of a sudden, you know what I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous with some of these guys up there right now. And we'll see what happens. But you know what, to the common law or his wife, all the best to her and things like that too, for what she had to go through and everything too. So, but nope, Stacy deserves the slammer big time and of at least good 15, 20 plus years.
Absolutely. And Jeff, Corbin Burns won the National League Cy Young over Zach Wheeler, but we had Bryce Harper win the National League MVP this year.
Jeff?
Yes, you did.
Yep.
Yes, you did. Well, that's how it goes.
We lost Jeff.
Jeff's been doing good. It's just I think his internet's having a little fluttering problem there. So
oh no.
Yep. There we go. So
there we go. But
it's time for someone else to have internet issues. That wasn't the coach.
Yep.
But yeah.
But no. Like I said, it's good. Congratulations. You know, good for them and everything. So I mean, I got a feeling. You know, I know we're all going to take off here in a few seconds, but I think MLB is going to have some changes come next season. I think there's going to be some changes with some stuff.
They're going to end up having a lockout, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That it's you know how it's that calm before the storm right now, right? You know what I mean? It's feeling like that right now when we look at MLB and certain little talks behind their closed doors, backs and stuff like that, preparing, I think, as you want to say, for that storm that's about to brew.
Exactly. And it all started up on December 1st because that's when the CBA is due to expire.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't think as of December 1st, I don't think we'll see it. We'll feel the full effects on it until spring training, until we get around spring training. That's when I think we'll see it. And we got Jeff back.
Jeff, I'm back.
What happened there?
Yeah, but Jeff, we are just saying
that. We got us a bot. We got us a Twitch bot.
Yep. But Jeff, we were just saying that Bryce Harper won the National League MVP, and we had Zach Wheeler losing the Cy Young to Corbin Burns this past week.
Yeah, tough vote in the Cy Young, but Harper earned it. It's tough though, I mean, when you look at that race for Cy Young, that was a very competitive race right there. And tough for Zach Wheeler to lose, obviously, the Cy Young with the kind of year he had. Bryce Harper had a very good year, no question about it. A little light on the RBIs, obviously, less than 100. But, you can look at that as, like I said, on Facebook, you can look at that as, the injury to Reese Hoskins obviously played a part in that, in the fact that, he didn't have as many guys on base. But the guy just played phenomenally well in the second half of the season. It really was a catalyst in driving that team as close as they got to the playoffs. So congratulations to the Phillies, winning, the MVP. Unfortunately, that doesn't do anything for the overall team. In fact, of where they're going or the competition they have in their division right now. But Bryce Harper is still a force to be reckoned with. That's what it's about.
Yep. And Mike, the Mets finally named their new general manager.
Yeah, former Angels assistant GM Billy Epler is the new GM of the Mets. Here's hoping he doesn't have any scandals that will cost him his tenure.
I think I can confidently say this. I think the Mets, if they didn't, let me tell you, I am going to go off on them. But I think the Mets, I can confidently say, would have done and should have done their due diligence before they brought him aboard. To say that, you know what, going forward, he's going to be clean. There are going to be no issues that pop up.
They should have done their due diligence with Jared Porter.
Yeah.
Exactly. And not even hired him, But if something pops up, this will be I would be frustrated with the New York Mets if anything popped up on his resume or came out later on, or he did something down the road.
If he lasts a full season,
yeah,
we could say that he's clean.
Exactly.
Over under on his 10 years, 6 months. So we'll see.
Yep. And
I'm going to go with the over.
And now they can start signing some free agents. I know that was a big thing with losing one of their semi-top pitchers. I mean, he only pitched 2 games last season. But, Thor.
He's now Loki to me.
but now they can.
Because just like Loki, who betrayed Asgard, Thor betrayed the Mets.
Well, the Mets might have betrayed. Well, I look at it, the Mets might have betrayed him because if they were able to sign one of these president of baseball ops guys, and they weren't getting turned down by everybody in the world, maybe Thor would have, Noah Syndergaard would have resigned with the Mets, but they were getting turned down by everybody. And
Mets made him a qualifying offer, and Noah Syndergaard refused to go back to the Mets to see if they wanted to match the Angels' offer.
Okay.
Yeah, and that, but once you become
that is betrayal. That makes him Loki. And I'm kind of working on something where Noah Syndergaard is wearing Loki's helmet from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I don't see. Once you let a player become a free agent, you hope that they would have some loyalty toward you. So okay, I want to see if you can match this. But once they become a free agent, that's on them. They can operate. They're free. They're clear. They can operate that any way they want to operate it.
He still should have given them the courtesy to try and match the Angels' offer.
I will say that.
I would have.
I talked to Jeff, one of our friends who's a New York Mets fan. I think you know who she is. She was at and she said that she really no longer likes Syndergaard. Because he came out and he was all pro New York. Oh, I'm never leaving New York. And then what did he do? He up and leave New York. But to the Angels,
what can you blame? Can you blame Thor for leaving and going to the Angels when you look at the MVP right now of the American League? You look at joining Trout and so forth. That organization right now has a heck of a shot right now at trying to take on the Houston Astros out west out there. So if I'm Thor and I look at, let's see, I have this offer from the Angels and I can join that organization or I can stay here in this organization. dysfunction organization. Which do I want? Yeah, I'm gonna go play in Anaheim.
No, I absolutely completely agree with you because he was looking at it. He wanted to get things done by.
But it's only a 1-year deal. It's only a 1-year deal, so he can go back out on the market and he can figure things out. But at least he's got a landing spot for 1 year.
Yeah, and like you said, the Angels can compete, and he wanted to get a fresh start. He had a sit down meeting with the Angels. They wooed him as best they could, and he looked at where the Mets were. Nobody in the front office, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to play for Anaheim.
Only a 1-year deal. So once the Mets get themselves figured out, they play out the year and maybe try to get Syndergaard back next winter.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be opposed to it.
So he might not be Loki for long.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be opposed.
Might just get Mjolnir back in 2023.
Yep. So, Mike, any NASCAR updates for this week?
Actually, yes, I'm hearing rumblings about that an old track might just get a NASCAR race back sooner than we think. North Wilkesboro Speedway is being set to host races again, according to Speedway Motorsports. There is money set aside in the North Carolina state budget for motorsports and for renovations to 2 old tracks, Rockingham and North Wilkesboro Speedway. North Wilkesboro hasn't hosted races since 1996, and the winner of that last race in September of 96 was Jeff Gordon. So, North Wilkesboro hosting a race again might be sooner than we think. It was an old 5/8 mile speedway. The banking in one end went uphill, banking in the other end went downhill. Very unique track. Harken back to NASCAR's beginnings as a short track centered series in the South, and I would love to see it come back, as would a lot of NASCAR's fan base. Its 2 race dates were hawked off to New Hampshire and Texas in 1997. New Hampshire's second race date has since been hawked off to Las Vegas. And cross your fingers, hold your breath. 2023, I'm calling it. North Wilkesboro returns.
Gotcha. So, as we sometimes do on this show, I give you my pro wrestling update after Mike.
Let the record show that I'm useless with pro wrestling, so I will move myself here.
Okay. So tonight we got the Survivor Series, the Thanksgiving Day tradition. They actually moved it up. Survivor Series is taking place tonight from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Just to go over the matches with everybody, I'll give you some predictions. Jeff, if you want to chime in too, feel free to.
Charlotte Flair.
Well, let me go down. We got the WWE Champion Big E versus the WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns. I am gonna go with Roman Reigns here.
Roman Reigns.
Yep. We've got the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch versus the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. I am going to go with Becky Lynch on this one. And there's actually, for people that knows, there's actually legitimate heat between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch from a promo that they did a couple of weeks back, and Charlotte Flair's attitude in the locker room. So this will be one of those matches that a lot of people are actually anticipating and looking forward to. But I think that Becky Lynch is going to wind up winning this match. We've got the WWE Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura versus the WWE United States Champion Damian Priest. And I am going to go with Damian Priest in this one. They've kind of redeveloped Priest's character over the past few weeks. So I'm going to go with Damian Priest in this one. We've got the traditional Survivor Series elimination match. We've got Team Raw, which is comprised of Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, and Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley versus Team SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Xavier Woods, Sheamus, and Happy Corbin. I am going to go with Team SmackDown in this. No, let me rephrase it. I'm going to go with Team Raw in this one. I think Team Raw takes it. That is the traditional, elimination match where you get pinned, you submit, you get counted out, you're gone, and then you slowly whittle down the team. I'm gonna go with Team Raw in that one. We've got the tag team elimination match again. On the women's side, we've got Team Raw comprised of Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina Vega versus Team SmackDown, Sasha Banks, Shotzi Blackheart, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, and Toni Storm. I am going to go with Team Raw in this one. I think the women on Team Raw is going to take it. I like the way Team Raw is comprised in this one. So we've got the SmackDown Tag Team Champion, the Usos, versus the Raw Tag Team Champions, RK Bro. I'm going to go with RK Bro in this one. I think they're going to take it 25. We've got the 25-man battle royal. Again, one of those filler type matches. You're going to see AJ Styles in there, Apollo Crews, Cedric Alexander, Cesaro, Chad Gable, Commander Aziz, Drew Gulak, Jinder Mahal, Los Lotharios, Mansoor, Omos, Otis, R-Truth, Ricochet, Robert Roode, Sami Zayn, Shanky, Shelton Benjamin, Street Profits, T-Bar, Viking Raiders. So maybe almost gets the win in this one. I think it could come down to Sami Zayn. He might be a finalist in this one. So I could see Sami Zayn taking that one. And that would be it for the Survivor Series matchup. We also had this week some WWE releases. Went in and due to budget cuts, again, on the WWE's part, they went in and released some wrestlers. We had Shantae the Adonis, Tegan Knox, Drake Maverick, John Morrison. So no more John Morrison in the WWE. Jackson Riker, Isaiah Scott, Shane Thorne, also known as Slapjack, and Top Dollar. All those guys getting released this past week. So again, WWE cutting back on a lot of talent over the past year. If you want to see the complete list of talent that the WWE has released this year, we have a link on our website, sportsskilletradio.com. Just scroll down at our Twitter feed. It's up there. You can click on the link, and it has every one of the talents that have been released by the WWE in one form or another. I'd like to get everybody's opinion. If you want to chime in on our social media, we'd love to hear from you as to what talent. Now, some of them have already made their way over to AEW, but we'd like to hear your opinion. What talents do you think that may not have made their way over or may have just recently been released? Again, there's a 90-day no-compete clause. What talents do you think will be making their way over to AEW? Or what talents do you think you would like to see over there? We'd love to hear from you there as well. Guys, I'll throw it to Jeff, Mike. Any stories that I didn't hit on or you would like to bring up before we start?
Just one thing that came over the wires a few minutes ago, and Tiger Woods tweeted, making progress, and he tweeted a video on the driving range. So, Tiger's trying to get back in the swing of things, pun intended. We'll see where this goes, but it's good to see obviously Tiger Woods making progress from that car accident that he had back in the spring. So hopefully Tiger Woods is starting to get back. We'll see if he can get back to the kind of level of golf that he feels good enough to actually get back on the tour. But I mean that's a leap, but at least he's getting out there and starting to swing a club again.
He'll definitely be ready for the Masters. That's like his tournament, the Masters.
Yeah.
Seeing him win that in
he's
2019.
It's November, so he's trying to get ready, for that March, April kind of time frame. So
yeah, seeing him win the Masters in 2019 was like my childhood coming back.
Yep, definitely. Congratulations to Tiger Woods. Hopefully he can make his way back, because I think golf is definitely better, even if he doesn't win the tournaments or whatever. I think golf is definitely better with him playing in it than without him in it. Wouldn't you say, Jeff?
Oh, absolutely. But at this point, I think people would just settle for him, being able to get back. I mean, obviously, it's been a tough road. I mean, we're coming back from from the leg injuries, the back, all the surgeries that he had. So, a lot of people, obviously, have thought that Tiger Woods may in fact have been done. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, it's a leap. To go from just being on the driving range to going in there and playing competitive golf on the tour. But we just have to see where this leads Tiger Woods. So, but it's an encouraging sign. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. So with that, we want to thank everybody for joining us this week on the Sports Skillet Radio Show. Stay tuned. You never know when we might pop up during the week. Also, check out the Heat Ratio for all the great shows that they have there as well. We want to thank them for co-hosting with us as well. Check out sportsskilletradio.com, our Twitter feed, our social media, for all the great stuff that we got going on there as well. Chime in. Feel free to comment. Anything you want us to discuss during the show or whatever, we're happy to discuss them with you as we do our show. And again, it's sportsskilletradio.com, @sportsskillet. Mike, Jeff, thank you so much. Another good show, and we will see everybody again next week. We hope you all have a great week. Hope you all have a great Thanksgiving holiday as well. Enjoy your holiday weekend, and again, we will see you back here next week.